Remodeling a kitchen peninsula often presents challenges, especially when balancing design preferences with electrical code requirements. Maintaining a comfortable overhang for an eating area while adhering to outlet spacing regulations requires careful consideration. Here are several solutions to address this issue. Firstly, consider installing a pull-out counter. Creating a 10-inch deep pull-out countertop on the knee wall side offers a clever way to conceal electrical outlets while providing a functional eating area with ample knee clearance. This approach allows you to maintain the desired overhang for comfortable seating without permanently exposing the outlets. When the pull-out counter is retracted, the outlets remain hidden, preserving the aesthetic appeal of the peninsula. Secondly, you can explore the use of recessed outlets. Installing recessed outlets into the side of the peninsula beneath the overhang provides electrical access without necessitating a strict 6-inch overhang limit. These outlets are designed to sit flush with the surface, minimizing their visual impact and allowing for a more generous overhang. Recessed outlets offer a discreet and practical solution for incorporating electrical access into the peninsula design. Thirdly, adding a rail or shelf could be beneficial. Installing a rail or shelf along the edge of the peninsula, just below the overhang, provides a convenient place to plug in appliances or serve as an eating area while keeping the outlets hidden and accessible. The rail or shelf can be designed to complement the overall kitchen aesthetic and provide a functional surface for both electrical access and dining. This approach allows you to maintain the desired overhang while integrating outlets in a discreet and accessible manner. Fourthly, consider cabinet depth adjustments. Modifying the depth of the base cabinets beneath the peninsula offers another solution. Deepening the cabinets on the knee wall side to allow for a 10-inch overhang, while maintaining the 6-inch overhang requirement on the opposite side, can provide the necessary space for comfortable seating. This approach requires careful planning and execution to ensure structural integrity and aesthetic harmony. By adjusting the cabinet depth, you can achieve the desired overhang while adhering to electrical code regulations. Fifthly, electrical box relocation is a viable option. Relocating the existing electrical box to a location that meets the 4-foot spacing requirement is essential for code compliance. Install additional outlets as needed to ensure proper electrical distribution. This may involve running new wiring and modifying the existing electrical system. It is crucial to consult with a licensed electrician to ensure that the relocation is performed safely and in accordance with all applicable codes and regulations. Additional considerations include consulting with a licensed electrician to ensure compliance with all relevant electrical codes. Electrical codes vary by location, so it's important to ensure that the chosen solution meets all applicable requirements. A licensed electrician can provide guidance on proper outlet placement, wiring methods, and safety regulations. Consider the overall aesthetics of the kitchen and choose a solution that complements the design. The electrical solution should integrate seamlessly into the overall kitchen design, enhancing both functionality and visual appeal. Choose outlets, covers, and accessories that match the style and color scheme of the kitchen. Test all electrical outlets thoroughly to ensure they are functional and safe to use. Before using any electrical outlets, test them with a circuit tester to ensure they are properly wired and grounded. This will help prevent electrical shock and ensure the safety of the electrical system. When choosing an outlet location and installation method, consider accessibility for users. Ensure the outlets are easily accessible for plugging in appliances and devices without requiring excessive bending or reaching. Consider the needs of all users, including those with mobility limitations, when determining outlet placement. Ensure that all electrical work is performed by a qualified and licensed electrician. Electrical work can be dangerous if not performed properly. It is essential to hire a qualified and licensed electrician to ensure that all electrical work is performed safely and in accordance with all applicable codes and regulations. This will help protect your home and family from electrical hazards. When working with electricity, always turn off the power at the breaker box before starting any work. This will help prevent electrical shock. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate safety gear, such as gloves and eye protection. Always double-check your work to ensure that all connections are secure and that there are no exposed wires. Consider the long-term maintenance and repair of the electrical system. Choose durable and reliable electrical components that are designed to withstand regular use. Make sure that the electrical system is easily accessible for maintenance and repairs. This will help ensure that the electrical system remains safe and functional for years to come. When selecting electrical outlets, consider the amperage rating of the appliances and devices that will be plugged into them. Choose outlets that are rated to handle the amperage draw of the appliances and devices to prevent overloading the circuit. Overloading a circuit can cause the breaker to trip or, in more serious cases, can lead to a fire. Be aware of the potential for water exposure near electrical outlets. Avoid placing electrical outlets in areas where they are likely to come into contact with water, such as near sinks or bathtubs. If outlets must be placed near water sources, use ground fault circuit interrupter or GFCI outlets to protect against electrical shock. GFCI outlets are designed to trip and shut off the power if they detect a ground fault, which can occur when water comes into contact with electricity. When installing electrical outlets, use the correct wiring methods and materials. Use appropriately sized wires and connectors for the amperage of the circuit. Follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations when installing wiring and making connections. Improper wiring can create a fire hazard or electrical shock hazard. Consider the use of tamper-resistant outlets, especially in homes with young children. Tamper-resistant outlets have spring-loaded shutters that prevent children from inserting objects into the outlet. This can help prevent electrical shock and injury. Tamper-resistant outlets are required by code in many new homes. When running new wiring, use conduit to protect the wires from damage. Conduit is a metal or plastic tubing that encloses and protects electrical wires. Conduit can help prevent damage from rodents, moisture, and physical impact. Conduit is required by code in many areas. Consider the use of arc fault circuit interrupter or RFSI breakers to protect against electrical fires. RFSI breakers are designed to trip and shut off the power if they detect an arc fault, which is a type of electrical fault that can cause a fire. RFSI breakers are required by code in many new homes. When installing electrical outlets, make sure they are properly grounded. Grounding provides a path for stray electricity to flow back to the electrical panel, which can help prevent electrical shock. The grounding wire should be connected to the grounding terminal on the outlet and to the grounding bus bar in the electrical panel. If you are unsure about any aspect of electrical work, consult with a qualified and licensed electrician. Electrical work can be dangerous if not performed properly. It is always best to err on the side of caution and seek professional help when needed. In the context of kitchen design and electrical work, understanding the National Electrical Code, or NEC, is crucial for ensuring safety and compliance. The NEC provides comprehensive standards and guidelines for electrical installations, including those in residential kitchens. Specifically, Article 210 of the NEC addresses branch circuits, which are the circuits that supply power to outlets and appliances. Section 210.52 specifically addresses the placement of receptacle outlets in dwelling units, including kitchens. This section outlines the requirements for spacing receptacle outlets along countertops and walls to ensure that electrical access is readily available and safe. According to NEC 210.52 paragraph C, countertop receptacle outlet placement is dictated by the following. Firstly, wall countertop spaces. A receptacle outlet must be installed at each wall countertop space that is 12 inches or wider. This means that any countertop space along a wall that is 12 inches or more in length must have at least one receptacle outlet. Secondly, island and peninsula countertops. At least one receptacle outlet must be installed at each island countertop space with a long dimension of 24 inches or greater and a short dimension of 12 inches or greater. For peninsula countertops, at least one receptacle outlet must be installed at each peninsula countertop space with a long dimension of 24 inches or greater and a short dimension of 12 inches or greater. The receptacle outlet must be located within 12 inches of the top of the countertop. Thirdly, receptacle outlet spacing. Receptacle outlets must be installed so that no point along the wall line is more than 24 inches, measured horizontally, from a receptacle outlet. This means that receptacle outlets must be spaced no more than 4 feet apart along the wall line. Fourthly, receptacle outlet location. Receptacle outlets must be located above, but not more than 20 inches above, the countertop. Receptacle outlets cannot be installed face up in the countertop. Fifthly, appliance receptacle outlets. Receptacle outlets that serve specific appliances, such as refrigerators or dishwashers, do not need to meet the spacing requirements outlined above. However, these receptacle outlets must be readily accessible for servicing the appliance. In the context of the question regarding the kitchen peninsula with a 10-inch overhang, the NEC requirements for countertop receptacle outlet placement would apply. Specifically, the receptacle outlets must be installed so that no point along the wall line is more than 24 inches, measured horizontally, from a receptacle outlet. This means that receptacle outlets must be spaced no more than 4 feet apart along the wall line. If the 10-inch overhang prevents the installation of receptacle outlets within 20 inches of the countertop, then alternative solutions, such as those described earlier, may need to be considered. These solutions could include installing recessed receptacle outlets, using a pull-out countertop, or adjusting the depth of the base cabinets. It is important to consult with a licensed electrician to ensure that any alternative solutions comply with all applicable electrical codes and regulations. In addition to the NEC requirements for countertop receptacle outlet placement, there are also other electrical codes and regulations that may apply to kitchen remodels. These codes and regulations may address issues such as wiring methods, grounding, overcurrent protection, and appliance connections. It is important to be aware of all applicable electrical codes and regulations and to ensure that all electrical work is performed in accordance with these codes and regulations. One common question that arises during kitchen remodels is whether it is permissible to install receptacle outlets in base cabinets. The NEC does not specifically prohibit the installation of receptacle outlets in base cabinets, but it does require that receptacle outlets be readily accessible. This means that the receptacle outlets must be located in a place where they can be easily accessed for plugging in appliances and devices. In general, it is not recommended to install receptacle outlets in base cabinets because they can be difficult to access and may be obstructed by items stored in the cabinet. However, there may be situations where it is necessary or desirable to install receptacle outlets in base cabinets, such as when there is limited space for receptacle outlets on the countertop. In these situations, it is important to ensure that the receptacle outlets are readily accessible and that they are not obstructed by items stored in the cabinet. Another common question is whether it is permissible to install receptacle outlets on the side of a kitchen island or peninsula. The NEC does not specifically prohibit the installation of receptacle outlets on the side of a kitchen island or peninsula, but it does require that receptacle outlets be located within 12 inches of the top of the countertop. This means that if receptacle outlets are installed on the side of a kitchen island or peninsula, they must be located within 12 inches of the top of the countertop. It is also important to ensure that the receptacle outlets are readily accessible and that they are not obstructed by items stored under the countertop. In addition to the NEC requirements for receptacle outlet placement, there are also requirements for the type of receptacle outlets that must be used in kitchens. The NEC requires that all receptacle outlets in kitchens be ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, protected. GFCI protection is designed to protect against electrical shock. GFCI outlets are designed to trip and shut off the power if they detect a ground fault, which can occur when water comes into contact with electricity. GFCI outlets are required in all areas of the kitchen where there is a risk of water exposure, such as near sinks, dishwashers, and refrigerators. When planning a kitchen remodel, it is important to carefully consider the electrical requirements and to consult with a licensed electrician to ensure that all electrical work is performed safely and in accordance with all applicable codes and regulations. A licensed electrician can provide guidance on outlet placement, wiring methods, grounding, overcurrent protection, and appliance connections. They can also help you choose the right type of receptacle outlets and GFCI protection for your kitchen. Remember to prioritize safety, compliance, and functionality to create a kitchen that is both beautiful and safe.